Welcome viewers to the 101st Australian 16-foot skiff title in conjunction with the 13-foot skiff Australian title hosted by the mighty Manly 16ft Skiff Club. Joining me in commentary today is Club Vice President Stevie Bowen and my good mate Paulie Mackenzie. So welcome aboard, boys, and thanks for jumping in the hot seats. There you go.
Thanks for having us, Jimmy. It's good to be out here today. It's good to be out on this boat for the first time in a while with a bit of breeze in front of us for this invitation race. Should be an interesting, fruity day. We're sort of going between 13 knots down on this start line to a solid 18, 20 up the top. Bit of good hit out for the boys first up, boys and girls, out here today.
Bit of swell out here too, isn't it, Paulie?
Yeah, there's a fair bit of lump. They've set us up on they're going to do a short, quick race today, not hurt everybody too much. I believe it's about 3 laps with about 1 nautical mile beat, is it, Jimmy?
Yeah, 1 nautical mile beat with a 180-degree bearing, so everything is pretty much so bang on the south. That boat there on screen, the Moonin, Daniel Turner, I think he'll be relishing today to get as much time on the water with Katut being away on other duties with Comanche, so he'll be using that as much as possible, I think, today to try and make sure that Matt Stenner's got his head back into skiff racing mode, right?
Yeah, I think Ruffy told us before the race that it's good to get second day training in for the year today.
Wouldn't have happened in your day, would it?
Oh,
No.
yeah, we used to train.
Same problem, mate. Same problem. That was always our problem, wasn't it, Paulie?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with you and me.
No. Just poor preparation.
Well, the Wharf Bar definitely appreciated both the Sutec team back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of training this week, I think, with the boys, especially from Manly. I know Baz has been out there a few times. Typhoon, Nathan Wilmot, he spent a fair bit of time out there.
Yep.
The Red Pumps, obviously, both boats, they've been spending a lot of time during the start of the season getting themselves organised.
Yep, and the other one that's been out a lot this week has been Iamy with Dave Gilmore stepping into the back of the boat there. So, yeah, it's obviously just new boat for the Iamy boys and new skipper. But when I've been walking past them, on my evening run, they...
Did you see Paulie?
Paulie went the other way, but we knew not to stop.
He just finished.
And then, but they said that Dave's fitted into that boat exceptionally well. So, Dave Gilmore is no slouch, that's for sure, and he'll only bring a little bit more to that team. But on the Typhoon,
Big change.
as you alluded to, the big change for this week is, as Baz named him, the second best sheet hand in the fleet, being Zach Barnabas has stepped into the middle of the Typhoon, son of Trent. So I think Trent's ambition this week is to show the old man who's the better one. So it'll be quite good. It's good to see that those boys have gelled quite well as well.
It's definitely going to be an interesting battle. I saw Iamy out training earlier in the week and they definitely look very slippery. That was on the Monday, and I think they were probably the quickest boat out there. So I guess given the conditions we've got coming up, which looks like a bit of a lighter week in terms of the breeze, it may favour Nathan a little bit more, but certainly it's going to be wide open for a number of other boats. Dave Connor.
Dave Gilmore's on
Dave Gilmore, yeah.
Dave Gilmore's on the back of the Iamy, and I think if there's someone who can give Nathan Wilmot a bit of a shake in this fleet in terms of tactics and things like that, Dave's gotten up to top 5 in the world for the match racing and stuff like that previously. He's also born and bred from a very good sailing family. I think he'll be able to really also give it a touch up with 2 of the best crew up in front of him.
Yeah, apologies. Dave Connors with the Noakes. Ex-Brydens.
Yeah, Noakes with Big Pete Mackey and Ricky Bridge going around one more time.
A couple of legends of the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this week what the Manly Skiff Club has decided to do is name a heat after each of one of our previous national champions. We had a very long drought in the beginning, in the early years of 16-foot skiff racing at Manly, and it was, and I think the first one that we're honouring is Matana, which was our first winner, our first national champion. And there's Georgia Clancy on Outback Marine. G'day, Stewie Graham, if you're watching. Great sponsorship.
So I think they've got, was it Harry Bethwaite on there?
Harry Bethwaite's on
there
there
today, just jumping on because I can't remember who's unavailable.
Kurt
Warner won the MGs yesterday and made himself very unavailable because of a certain dust cloud over down south. So we'll see Kurt when he gets back, and I think Kurt Mitchell's on there as well this week with Georgia. So she's got quite a good crew, and Georgia's no slouch on the tiller herself. And there's the new Eric's storage, which is the ex-IMI, so not to be confused. And boys have sailed around from Middle Harbour. And they've been out training a little bit, and Nathan Edwards, a forward hand on board there, is the association president. So, good luck to those boys. Hopefully their new boat can move them up the ladder. They won a race a couple of years ago, and
they had a quick boat though. That was an old Sutek boat, I think they used to have.
Sutek, yeah. And I messaged them and said congratulations, and I think they partied too hard too early. But you got to take those things. National champion, heat wins hard enough, let alone to win the whole bloody thing. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what about from Belmont? I've been having a look at the results up there.
Yeah.
We've got the Dominoes look like they're up there. We've also got the SKE Electrical. They've had some mixed results, I guess.
We're hearing they're quite quick through the water. Just can fall apart a little bit at places.
Light and Wonder, I think they were in contention. Who else did we see there, Paulie?
We also had a good chat to all of the Macon boys earlier this morning on the Skelcon. So Harry, Henry and Grant won a national title. What would it be?
Don't remind me of it.
6 years ago, Jimmy? Down in Illawarra, I think.
Something like that.
Longer than that, I think.
And they've had a couple of years off, but they're back down at the jump back into the 16. Got one. Put a new boat on the water, and they're giving it a crack again.
The other one from Belmont to keep an eye on, I think Baz was trying to sort them some rigs or something, was NHS Building Supplies, Tom Dawson. The Hoff, it's been filling in on the Typhoon, and Charlie White, like you boys wouldn't know too much about Charlie White, but very capable 18-foot skiff sailor, very skilled
over there, isn't he?
Very skilled 12-foot skiff sailor. And there's the Noakes of Davey O'Connor, Big Pete Mackey,
Ricky Bridge.
They've been over here with a bit of training.
Is it? I could be standing corrected. Is the guys from Light and Wonder? They've come up from Hobart, apparently going to university in Newcastle.
Yeah, right.
So they've only been in the class for a couple of years, and apparently they're doing very well.
Tasmanians.
That's awesome to see.
Let's see how they enjoy Sydney Harbour.
So we've got the fire stopping on screen here now. They came out nice and early. We've seen them doing a bit of training. They're gradually progressing forwards, aren't they, Jimmy? Trending forwards in there at the moment in all their club races. I think they've been lucky to get the same crew on the boat now for a few races in a row.
Yeah, well, Lockie's been away on other commitments, and
he seems to have a lot of commitments.
Yeah, I think he's committed to the beer or something, but it's...
You shared some of your wisdom with them, didn't you, a little while ago there, Paulie?
Yeah, Paulie went out and
good for half a race.
Half a race. Yeah, I think I was good for half of the run down to the start, actually, Steve.
Well, we had Mal Page has jumped in and been out with them and shown them a few little tricks and bits and pieces, and then they've been out with Baz this week as well, as you alluded to earlier.
So they're a little bit confused now.
They're beyond confused. So there's, I think that's Joe Walsh rigging there on screen. Craig Doran, Thomas Mount Stevens and Maxwell Downey.
Well, it looks like we've got little rigs in everywhere. Looks fairly manageable out there, barring the Seaway, but I don't think they've got enough speed for getting to get into too much trouble, really, do they? We'll say, what's it blowing? 14 knots, 15 knots at the moment.
Yeah, we're hitting a little bit, but not too bad.
Yeah, it's just pushed through to about 18 now. It seems to be coming through in some waves.
That red chute there on the screen is Capital Brewing, Jessica Rolls, our Vice Commodore.
There should be some good competition for the girls in the competition, because there is a First Lady Skipper Award, I believe.
Yeah, there's a junior, there's a senior, there's a ladies. I think they've come up with a category for everything, Paulie. So we might be all right. We might get something here.
Because I know there's hot contention in that kind of old buffers one.
Yep.
Between sort of, you know.
There's the mighty Sutek on screen. Have you? Did you give them some wisdom on the way around, boys?
No, every time we tell them anything, it seems to send them a bit further backwards.
Don't get too close to us this week and you'll be all right. I noticed that Ann King and the mighty Shebang, they're not out there today, saving themselves for the first heat tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's, as you probably know better than anyone, Ant's hands aren't the greatest, and they, he's needs all the rest he can for those hands for the week. That's for sure. So there's Ruffy Turner sending it.
Ruffy's getting his practice in. Looks good.
Yeah.
It might have been not hard for those guys to put it together really between them. They know how to sail well together, don't they?
Yeah, and they'll relish these conditions today.
It's just... There we go. Seeing Matty Stenner get the world's biggest hands into action, getting that shoot away now.
And no problems there. He was calling himself Fireball.
The young boys on Fireball. They've been out practicing a little bit as well, not as much as some of the other ones, but these guys are showing moments of brilliance, and I'd put a lazy 5 on them for potentially a handicap win overall.
Yeah. I mean, they're looking pretty smooth and solid in some pretty fruity conditions out here at the moment. That could be the kiss of death for them, but we'll just see how we go.
They managed to bear away pretty easy, didn't they?
Yeah. Steve got some very kind words from a few people asking not to mention them too much coming into Barroways today.
Oh, that's right, Keegan York.
Keegan, that's right. He's filling in for Junior Turner, who's dislocated his shoulder and out for 8 weeks, which is a huge disappointment for him. Brand new boat this season, and I think it was the first day out on that boat, or second day out on that boat, and dislocated his shoulder, which was disappointing, but an able replacement in Keegan York jumping on. I'm sure they'll be able to.
But look, he looks a lot fitter than what he did when he started with me 12 years ago. So
yeah,
I think that's due lifestyle choices.
Lifestyle it is. Keegan competed in his first Hobart aboard Moneypenny this year, so
They got a division win, didn't they?
Yep. So, but I'm sure Ben Bradley's ears will be hurting by the end of the week.
Yeah, I asked Junior around at the club just before if he bought the boys some industrial earmuffs to have on the boat ready to go.
Get him just to run over to your building site just over the other side of Manly.
Mate, he's definitely not shy of a word, is he, Keegan?
No.
He does, and he's telling about his successes in Manly, so he'll have all the experience about telling him the right way to go today. So,
all right, Keegs, good to be on your Christmas card list again.
So at the moment we're just seeing the boats, we're just following
tech
up and down. Everyone seems to be going up, doing a quick little work, setting a chute, running back down, ensuring that they... So we have SKE on screen now, one of the Belmont boys who's come down. Scotty Babbage steering, Scott Beebe, and give me 1 second, Joel Skelton up the bow. We had a good chat to Scott Beebe before the race. He's in a bit of pain.
30 seconds to an orange flag, I'm getting told. I don't know what the orange flag means, but
hurt his shoulder about a week ago. He's a bit worried about making it through the whole week, but he's not too concerned because he thinks Hugo's and Morph Bar will get a good run for their money if he can't finish it out.
Oh, you can fill in for him anyway, Coach Paulie.
I'm good for one race, Steve. It's got to be a 16 knot nor'easter.
You already know what the conditions are for the week.
Yeah, so if it's not that, my phone will get turned off. I heard you throwing your name out there for a few people earlier before.
Yeah, I don't know if my phone's on though. The same problem, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
We've got some big
I
things.
tried ringing Sutek and it just went straight through to the keeper. So
We'll have to tell Amanda not to answer them. This is the new. No, it's the old IME on screen at the moment, isn't it?
Well, it looks like we've got a reasonable fleet out here for
That
the
is the new
invitation
one.
race.
Is it? Yeah.
you got Imey on their spinnaker.
Yeah.
It is going to get confusing, and we will get some wrong this week, but
Yeah.
bear with us.
Especially with the red pumps, the red pumps red. Generally, we know which one is which because red pumps red generally is in front of the other one, which makes it a little bit easier for us. Sorry, Bruce. I had to chuck it in there. I'm joking.
Take it early, Bruce.
Dominoes from Belmont there on screen, just coming towards us.
Again, they've had a reasonably good season from looking at the results. So
Yeah.
we should expect to see.
So they've done well in the last few national titles. I think they jagged a couple of good wins. I know the last time I was sailing, they were always a surprise, especially in a bit of lighter air. So let's, if they can put a whole series together, I think they're going to do really well and surprise quite a few of these other more fancied boats. And then on screen there, we have, is it the Kuna?
Nozomi.
Nozomi.
Let me just have a look at my screen in front of us.
Belmont, Andrew Chapman, Peter Kendall, and Charlie Gundy.
Andrew Chapman, sailmaker from Sydney, doing a bit of sailing up in Belmont these days.
Charlie Gundy, another
He's done well in the 18s a couple of times. He's had
fine young fella.
he had the pleasure of sailing with Keegan for a couple of seasons as well, didn't he?
Mate, that's why he's good. But, no, those guys can definitely, I think, probably might surprise a few people down here. The chop, as we've alluded to today, is probably going to be as much as it's going to be.
I think it would be interesting to see how much this slop hangs around for the rest of the week, though, Jimmy, because we've sort of got a forecast with southerlies coming through, which will not certainly push this swell away. But when it does go light, we're still going to have a bit of a seaway running over the next 2 days with a lot of bump and lump out here.
Yeah.
That is the hardest conditions to sail these boats. Lighter breezes with a bit of a chop and really trying to get your groove going, especially upwind, is extremely difficult.
There's our entrant from Des Moines, Addenda. Oop, what's going on there? Close the screen. There we go. There's Bartley Constructions from Manly. Another young group there. The 13s are sort of hidden, aren't they? I think we've seen one on screen, which was the Bartley.
Am I right, Jimmy, that there's a few 13s from Hornsby as well?
Yeah, a huge contingent. It's great to see Hornsby Ku-ring-gai Sailing Club. There's, well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them have come down from there. So that association sort of goes through from the Manly Juniors Flying 11s, and they showcased the 13s to them, and they all liked it. So it was, it's good to see that they're in there. And then I think we got a couple of boats from Middle Harbour, a couple of 13s from Middle Harbour, and the rest are all from Manly, but a huge contingent of 15 entries for the 13-foot skiffs, which is going to be great. I've got about 1 minute to a warning signal here.
Just looking at the conditions for the week, I mean, we're coming tomorrow and we're looking at, 10 to 15? And then
Similar direction.
And then it's going to start to soften off, I think, for the Monday. Whether they get some races in or not remains to be seen. And then it's fairly fickle. So given that we're going to see lighter conditions, you're probably looking at some of the more, I guess, intelligent skippers around there, and particularly I'll be keeping an eye on Nathan Wilmot and what he's up to out there. I guess
He's got a fairly talented bloke up in the bow as well that can pick a shift.
Yes, he does, doesn't he?
Malcolm Page.
Yep, 5 minutes there for the 16-foot skiffs. So nice horn on the start boat. We're actually using the Middle Harbour start boat this week because Hugh Lester, the PRO, likes to be elevated. So it's got a nice fly bridge there. So Tinny's generously donated his boat. So thank you, Tinny. There's no sense from Middle Harbour. No sense having a swim.
Quick rest before the start.
Check the weed on the board, get it off.
All smart stuff.
It's NHS from Belmont.
So this is the boat we were talking about earlier with Tom Dawson, Simon Hoffman and Charlie Wyatt on it.
Yep.
We've got, pretty sure Tom Dawson's in that 49er kind of squad, isn't he? We've seen Simon Hoffman pull out some great results at Manly, sailing with Nathan and Malcolm Page on the Typhoon. And I believe he also jumped on the Moonin for the last 2 heats of the States as well, with Ruffy giving me a bit of high praise for him as well. Sort of used it as a bit of motivation for Gus, I think. But I think they could be one too when we talk about the smarts and the flukiness and stuff like that. Just from the amount of time on the water they spend out here with the 49ers could really help them.
Yeah. Well, AP going up. So just a 2 to 3 minute delay. We've got a couple of yachts. Obviously, Sydney Harbour's quite busy on the weekends, and there's some club racing back, and there's a couple of yachts just coming around the YA marks, which are laid permanently down here at Manly West, Manly East, for those that know the marks. And there's the first yacht just about to go around the mark with a 1, 2, 3 jibe. Heads down.
Certainly intelligent decision by Hugh Lester. You don't want to get started with the yachts. Bringing back across the start.
No, he's a very able PRO, and I think the class is lucky to have him. And they'll.
You made a bad decision at Middle Harbour a couple of years ago starting a race, but we won't talk about that.
You're getting personal again, Polly.
Yeah.
Memories, huh? Memories.
PTSD.
Well, when you're sitting next to two blokes that have both got a couple of national titles between them.
Yeah. We threw the violin over earlier.
Some Larry kite sheets on board that boat. CMG.
The CMG, that's the main.
There's the there's the SKE electrical.
Just appears to have just pushed through a little bit harder here as we lead up to the start. The forecast is for it to increase slightly, isn't it, Steve, through the afternoon?
Yeah, I think just slightly. I mean, it'll just be variable up and down, especially up near the top mark. I haven't quite sighted it yet.
I think
He's pushed it up on the inside of Flagstaff there. What are we sitting at here? 180, wasn't it?
Yeah, 180. So we're heading at currently at about 130 there on your compass.
Yep.
There's a lot of fancy stuff on this boat that me and Steve are quite used to, like compasses and wind gauges.
Pull rope.
AP coming
Pull
down.
rope. Pull rope harder.
Yeah. If it flaps, pull.
So that's 6 minutes, right?
Yep.
So we're just looking down across the start line there. Can't quite see. I believe we've got a pin boat in again, don't we,
Yeah,
Jimmy?
pin boat's just to the right of the club, so just on the right-hand side of that shot just came out of it.
We've said it's a nice long start line. It'll be interesting up this first beat. There's a lot more south in this breeze than there normally is when this sort of pushes through. So
Big stack coming up. Do you want me to boat? Oh, no. Yeah.
I noticed the breeze had a little bit of west in it.
yeah,
You're watching it online.
Not long here till the 5.
You might find there's a few shifts just coming out of the right.
well, it does appear to be when it is increasing, just pushing around to the right a tiny bit. But I think today, especially upwind, it's going to be a little bit of let's find some flat water and clear air. Off the start, you're going to find it in the left, but you could get caught in there, or you might want to jump back into this reef beach side. And then
It's pretty lumpy on that reef beach side, Paulie, when we came around from
over to
like from reef beach around to the bombies there. It was pretty lumpy.
I think as soon as we clear kind of Kilburn Towers, you've got to be looking to that left-hand side.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to miss the most swell. But down the bottom, you might get a few little bit of relief in here if you get a bad start.
Rule of thumb will say that the leader will probably come out of the left.
Yeah.
However, occasionally you'll get a flyer, someone will head out to the right, they'll get a bad start, they'll be looking for clear air, they'll head across to Reef Beach, and that can come out favourably as well.
And I think everybody will be looking to go to that left-hand side, Steve.
Yeah.
But you can get caught over there. And if you do get caught, you can really get bumped around by other boats if you don't get the best start. And because everybody's looking to go there, you can get caught up for quite a while.
Yeah, you've really got to start grinding in there, don't you, to try and get yourself some room to tack.
Like a nice high groove off his start is going to be a big thing, I think.
So there's a view looking back from the pin back to.
It's not much runway off that pin if you're starting right on it either.
What do you reckon that start line, about 250 metres or something?
It's a solid start line.
Plenty of room.
Plenty of room.
Ferry's just leaving, so that shouldn't interfere with anyone. The other one will be on its way back in, though, I imagine, so we should see that shortly.
That's the other thing for the boats that don't normally sail from here is the ferries. You've got to take that into contention. And that's,
The big thing about the ferries, Jimmy, is even if you do see it, it's how you deal with it that's often the hardest part. Knowing your boat speed relative to it, knowing if you are going to get across it or not, and then if you do get across, how much wind shadow you're copping on the other side.
Yeah.
And I mean, us boys that have grown up sailing at Manly, it almost comes as a second nature kind of thing. But it is quite a difficult one to wrap your head around. And also, we just sort of get used to the timing of it in a work. You go, all right, it's coming through up this time each work, and you can sort of plan your race around it. But it's just another additional thing to worry about.
There is a cat coming in, so I imagine he's going to be fairly close to coming through the start line. He's probably...
They'll have a good view, Steve-o.
Oh, a very good view, aren't they?
So we got 2 minutes 13 to the start at the moment. Top right of screen, you should all be able to see it.
And for those viewers at home, that feel free to leave questions, queries, whatever you want to do, and we'll do our best to jump onto them and answer you while this regatta's on. Is there anyone in particular you want us to go chat to, have a little interview with? Also, feel free to let us know. So, working very hard to make sure we get all bases covered here.
We haven't got that many boats starting to line up on the start line, or perhaps at the boat end, actually. As I look out the window, they're all stacking up behind us. For a minute and a half, it does look like they're looking for a sort of mid-line to pushing to the pin, especially with a lot of these top boats, I believe.
There's not a lot of runway down at the pin end, is there, really?
No, just the way that they're all sort of lining up as they're stalling out. Does look like it is slightly pin favoured from the breeze perspective on this line as well.
That was your 1 minute signal. So time to crack the first beer if you're watching.
There's the fluid down the pin end. My brother Clint looks like he's going to go for a port hander, I reckon.
He's got the Noakes down there, Dave O'Connor. We know he can get a bit creative in his starting procedures, pushing for a port tacker as well. When we start seeing boats do that, though, it kind of does hint at that possibly that pin end is very favoured. Yeah. We've also got the red pumps, Bruce, ripping along the line there, trying to race down to that pin end.
Yeah, the Noakes and the fluid are definitely going for a port hander.
I think the NHS getting down there could create them a few issues. 5 seconds.
Here we go.
The Tribeca.
Tribeca's definitely looks like he's jumping.
I'd say
He's over.
I'd say the Tribeca gave themselves about a 7 or 8 boat length head start there. However,
That would be all Keegan, right?
definitely.
He said, let's come out looking like rock stars on the first race.
Yeah.
And knowing that boat run by Junior, it'd have all the technology on it.
Yep.
So Keegan will be telling you that it's wrong.
Individual recall.
Individual recall. We're pretty sure we know who it was. So we got the drone over the pin end there. It looks like the new Imey blasted off the pin.
The Noakes are fighting their way through at the moment on a port hander. He's had to dip, say, I don't know, probably 30% of the fleet.
That's them coming onto screen now on the left, about to dump under the southerly. And to the right there, we got Red Pumps Red, who was the boat that came off the boat end. And they're looking very nice.
They look
there.
quick through the water there.
Look, watch it. But the Cunninghams are actually grinding up nicely behind them. They've got a nice high groove there too. So it's all about how far they can live into this shore, because you're only going to improve the further you go across, but it can get a bit fruity on this shore. You know, if you think there's a lull in front of you, you don't want to hit that because you can really get stuck up. Now we've got the first port tackers coming back across. Looks to be led by the NHS. They're all sort of cruising in behind, and the SKE Electrical, they're that boat furthest in there.
So, just from the start boat, boys, Outback Marine, Tribeca, and Southerly were all over. And Southerly this week has been steered by Zoe Dransfield with Matt Trigolane, our Commodore. He's decided to take himself out of the mix and take care of business back in the club. So, yeah, they're the 3 boats for the viewers at home that were over. Who's that? Just having a little cool off in the middle.
Can't quite see. So as we predicted, they've all run into the shore here. They've also all decided to hold up a Manly fast ferry, hard up against the rocks.
Bit of trouble here. He's continuing to move.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to put his...
Oh, no, he's come to a halt now.
He's sort of pushed a few boats back into that corner. That the SKE's made the smart decision to head back into that corner just in front of the Red Pumps Red.
You'll get a clear run back out of there on port then, once you've used him as a bit of a blocker there to come back.
So on screen, the boats that look to be leading to the left, it's the Musto followed by the Sutek with, can't quite make out that other one, sorry guys. Eric's, sorry, that's Eric's leading the way back. So these are all the boats on screen are heading back over towards sort of that Reef Beach shore. It's an area that's well known to be a washing machine, and I think they'll all be looking to tack back as soon as they can if they have time. So this is the Erics. This is the Cunninghams.
Great boat.
Great boat. It's got the producer behind us, Chits' son on the sheet. Nick's one that's always great at jagging a few good results in a regatta. I think having a stable ahead of Chits on board instead of blowing up with his brother every so often, I think will be a great help for them.
I don't know, after Hobart with Alex. He'll be right. Good kid.
I'm not sure.
Who's that in the water there? Red.
I think that's the Eric Storage from Middle Harbour.
I think they might have been working their way.
I think they were still getting here.
Looks like they're sailing a higher line over there off Dobroyd in the right there.
Looks like they got a bit west, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's just flicking around the corner out of Middle Head.
So these are the boats on screen that Steve's talking about. That's the Imey, followed by the Dominoes, 2 of the boats we had a bit of a chat about earlier.
Noakes as well.
And then the Noakes. So they're all heading back into this left-hand side, Storm Beach side, hoping to get a bit of relief from the waves. The Noakes has gone
Who's
back.
that furthest in the right? I think it's the SKE Electrical.
Yeah.
They look pretty good. They're moving nicely through the water.
So just it's a short beat, this one. So we're expecting they're probably halfway up now, aren't they? And with the starboard rounding, with this swell running the way direction it is, it could get a little bit interesting. But We'll make sure that we catch it all.
There's the Imey. I would suggest he's probably running about 5th or 6th at the moment.
There is a nice, a big sort of 5 or 6 boats above them on screen. We're actually sitting there.
That's live on board Cunningham's coming to you. So there's Nick, Alex, and who have they got up the bow again?
It's good, just Mark Childs, isn't it?
Yeah, Charlesy Dirty Mike. That's who it is.
Another one of the directors from down at the Skiff Club out in the regatta, which is a great thing to see.
He's actually too nice to be a foreign end, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely too nice.
I believe he started out as a sheet hand, so that'd explain a lot, wouldn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah.
So here we're seeing the Cunninghams who are just on screen tucking back. They're going back, sort of coming in behind that leading bunch with the SKE, the 2 red pumps boats, and the NHS.
And the NHS is looking good through the water as well.
Yeah.
And the 2 red pumps. What do you think? Leading at the moment, the SKE?
I think it's very close between the SKE and the red pumps red. We're just trying to spot the top mark ourselves at the moment, so we can gauge where everybody's at.
Dominoes have tacked back on a port hander. They're probably 50, 70 metres behind the SKE.
Yeah. I think this is the leading bunch out here, though, isn't it, Steve?
Definitely in the left.
It's quite funny. The red pump's red, and red pumps are always. You know, if you find one, you find the other. They're like they're on a string. These two.
Perhaps that's the young blokes.
As the boats are coming back over towards the east, they're getting knocked away. I think we're questions whether there's a bit of fool's gold over in the right because a few of them keep pursuing it. We'll see what happens.
I think
remember back at Steve-O, you know, you keep chasing it, and it just wasn't there. Like,
No.
You know, and I don't think it's changed since when we gave up.
Sooner or later, once you find the top mate, you've got to eat it, don't you, and come back.
You also in this suddenly you get a bit of a funnel coming down the harbour too, don't you? That's, you know, we get a bit affected by the shorelines down here.
A bit.
So you know we've got a long bit of harbour there that's channeling us straight down at them at the moment. You can always get 1 or 2 glamours from that right hand side.
Those 2 red pumps are looking good.
I think they're looking higher and faster on this left-hand side, aren't they?
The SKE, which you can't see on screen, they've just actually knocked away probably about 20 degrees lower than the red pumps, the red pump skies. And who's the other one in between them?
That's that Light and Wonder from
There
Downwind,
it is,
mate.
Light and Wonder.
So apparently they're not the biggest units on that boat, we sort of got told, did we?
Yeah.
And if we are expecting some lighter conditions, they are the boat that the Belmont boys were telling us to look out for the most.
They're certainly sailing the boat very flat. I don't know, probably a little too flat in this type of seaway, but
Yeah, we're just seeing that sort of difference in the modes between them and the red pumps red and them, aren't we? The red pumps red just sailing a bit freer, not chopping into those waves, which is actually getting them a little bit more height in the long run with that little bit of a lean on the boat.
so it looks like the red pumps and the Light and Wonder, they're going across on top of the fleet just to cover them.
We're not far off the top mark here anyway, guys. So.
There's no one really too much to...
Push.
To the left.
Some big rollers here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be...
I mean, that red pumps red boat at the moment, and with the other red pumps behind them, are looking very, very quick through the water.
Got an opportunity for the Belmont boys to test themselves on the Bearaway now. This will be
The jibe, Steve-O, the jibe. The jibe in the seaway.
Oh, from our discussions earlier, Jimmy, I think they're more worried about the Bearaway if I can get through that.
The tip is straight down the wave, full speed, full noise, and then just send it through.
It's easy coming from a foreign hand, isn't it, Jimmy? All you do is run in.
I think that's what you do.
But sometimes to watch him push you back. So.
We had to get those tracks to move you from one side of the boat to the other, remember?
Oh, yeah, okay. Look, I pulled one rope. Sometimes I even made you pull the tack line for
With
me.
that little trolley that Ruffy used to pull you across on.
What was it when I got stuck? We had a hydraulic ram issue, didn't we?
Yeah, we had the same on the fire truck, mate. The hydraulic ram on the keel got jammed.
So we've still got the red pumps red on the screen. I'd say they're still probably 100 metres away from the lay line. And when they get to that lay, they're going to be about there's still got a bit of sailing. It's this top mark, probably 200 metres of sailing.
We're currently sitting above the top mark, so it's fairly difficult to tell where everyone's placed because they haven't crossed each other yet. But it looks like the left-hand side of the course has been favoured.
Yeah.
There's just a bit more of a lift coming out of that east before they got knocked away.
Yeah, as you alluded to earlier, Steve, they're not looking that great coming back from that right-hand side. It does appear that they're bending down, and those blokes who went to the left have sort of just lifted out on them the whole way across. So it's almost like a double punishment.
Yeah, well, as you know, the whole gain, like we're right, probably smack bang between the bombies and middle head here where the top mark is. The real gain is when you get to middle head in our normal southerly course, you've got to take a big long header to get in there.
And you get that backwash off the rocks normally, don't you, Jimmy, that just shoots you out to windward.
Yep.
But if you can't get to there, then you sort of...
He's coming back now on lay, red pumps.
Red pumps red.
I think he's got a nice easy lay there too.
Very easy lay, hasn't he?
Based on Jimmy's put us in the perfect position here. They're going to be... They'll probably stay high for a little bit and then reach in.
You can probably see Amy coming across. No, they've just changed the camera angle.
I'll tell you what...
1 and 2, I'd say, although Amy's going to be coming in here.
The guys who came back and had another crack at the left halfway up there have really got their way back into this.
Yeah, I think the SKE electrical guys, when they come back into this pack here, they'll be saying, let's stay on the left. Here we come.
So we
first bear away.
So we got the person
Jackson up the front.
They gave everybody a touch up at the States and then first round the first mark.
He's the current state champion, remember?
Yeah.
Current New South Wales state champion. Red pumps 1 and 2. How good's that?
Well done to the red pumps.
Both of these boats too run a spinnaker chute, which in these lumpier days can be a bit handy. You can see that the sheet hands can stay out on wire.
Third around, Light and Wonder from Belmont.
So that's Sarah Lee's old boat as well.
Yeah, and then a boat that was over, Tribeca.
So
only just over.
Keegan.
With the Amy.
It's a good result for 3 blokes, even with the big head start they gave us themselves. And then the Musto. Look at a little bit.
You know who I haven't seen out here is the Typhoon.
No, oh, here we go.
So that's a Tugra, is it? Tugara?
Tugara, very famous name, the monkhouse name from St George.
St George, yeah.
Yep.
So we just got the Moon in there sneaking around with his cousin in hot pursuit on the Outback Marine. You'll notice there that Ruffy took a very low line around there. Everybody else has been fighting for a bit of height. He's probably made 2 or 3 boats instantly.
NHS, Domino's, Fluid, Nozomi.
The Belmont people are all dealing with this quite well at the moment.
Yeah,
the NHS has got a little bit on there, just to the right of screen.
He's lost his tack.
But we're still just following them all around.
Yep, we'll get
another Noakes coming round.
We'll run down with this mob here, eh?
It's the Sutek just rounding.
So it's quite compressed, apart from that front 3. The front 3 seem to have got a good jump on everybody. That's the 2 red chutes up the front and the red pumps red around the red pumps.
That's the NHS there, just in trouble. They're holding it, but I'll be surprised if they can keep it up. Oh, here they go. Bear away, it'll be interesting.
That's our...
He's blowing his tack. No, he's gone. He's got trouble there. He's going to get run over here, unfortunately.
Not what you want on an invitation race.
No, they're clear.
So this is the Southerly, another one of the female skippers in the fleet.
Young Zoe.
Young Zoe. Zoe might want to get a little bit more main on there if she's holding the sheet on the main. Just look to, in this kind of bumpy conditions, if you let it out that far, it's going to come to bite you sooner or later. So we're just following down the fleet with the drone here. We can see there's been one boat that's managed to duck back off to the left. That's the Moonin. running into that shore on the left, looking for a bit of compression in the breeze along that shore, I believe. Also, you might find that they were running up the back of another boat in front of them that they thought they were quicker than. This is
Mighty fire truck.
the fire truck just coming out of screen there. This is a very good for them. Shows all their training they've been putting in and the help they've got from them. And they're two of the most solid hands in the fleet on the Noakes with Davey O'Connor on the stick. You know, they'll be relishing these conditions, Mackie and Bridgie. There we are, we're almost inside the boat. The drone boy's doing a great job for us. So they're just running into Kilburn Towers here on the Noakes. We'll expect them to put in a jibe within the next, 5 to 10 seconds.
It looks like there's enough separation between the waves, actually. They don't look like they're getting into too much trouble, does it?
They look to be nice and rolling, and you just sort of got to go with it.
There goes
There's a
fire
fire.
stopping for a jibe.
Let's see how the fire stopping boys go.
Down.
That's a nice job. That's a lovely
jibe from the back.
That's a lovely job from them.
Just in front of the fire stopping, we'll see the SK. We've moved on. There's the SK electrical.
This white chute that's in the water, I'm not sure who it is, sorry.
I thought it was the SKE.
Oh, there's two. I'm looking at the one
SKE,
on
and this
screen.
is
no.
Tribeca is the other one.
Tribeca. Keegan putting the new boat in for a bit of early work here with the spinnaker. Now the big mover down this run, the iron is eating into that front group very well. And then the other one that's done quite well, off screen to the left, you're going to see them pop into screen in a little bit is the Moonin, who has taken a different run, taken a different course down here to try and clear their air. So they've come from about 12th back to about 7th or 8th.
Old Matty Stenner's only using 2 fingers and he's got it strapped on.
Yeah, I reckon they're going to come in here. We'll see a jibe from them in a second. You'll notice they jibe a little bit differently to everyone else.
Matty goes through. See if he still remembers.
See if he remembers everything Steve-O taught him.
Ran in and started pushing buttons.
That was a nice jibe from them.
Beautiful job.
And at this bottom arc, Steve-O, do you reckon you'd be wanting to take that right-hand turn to head back over towards the Skiff Club?
I think that's the safest way. Just have a few breaths there and get yourself sorted. The boys look fairly organised there with the red pumps moving away. We see
Red pumps first down.
Irony coming in with the drop.
So
Red pumps red second.
So
It
the
looks
red
like red
pumps-
pumps is going home.
the red pumps, the first red pumps with Bruce steering.
The second red pumps look like they're going home too.
So both of the red pumps look like they're just doing one lap of this course and they're taking it in. Bit of superstition in invitation races. Some people don't think it's good luck to win them.
What did you used to do, Paulie?
I never had an opportunity to win one, so it didn't really bother me. But I'm pretty sure if there was cash on the line, we used to win them.
Take whatever you can get, you reckon?
Wow.
So we're looking back up the course. We've currently got, as well, if we go over to the left, we've got the Light and Wonder. They'll be leading at the moment, followed closely by the Imey. You can see who's that coming down. Cunningham's on screen at the moment.
Yep, with Noakes blue above them, blue chute. So Sean Langman extending his sponsorship from the 18s into the 16s, which is fabulous to see.
So are there 2 Noakes boats out here, Jimmy? Is that right?
Yeah, there's Noakes and then Noakes Blue, similar to what they do on the 18s. So
It's really
Noakes
good,
Blue
isn't
is actually young Ryan Ewing sailing with the old boy up the front. Gilly's still got it. He was a machine back in the day in the 18 footers, mate. He was a force to be reckoned with. So, his young bloke's got an amazing talent, and I think Pete Mackey's sort of got him under his wing down there as part of a package deal with the Noakes guys. So it's good to see.
Because that does look like the old Bryden's boat.
It is the old Bryden's boat, just rebranded as Noakes. So,
Yep.
But same in the 18s, they're not very easy to differentiate. So there's live, just live back on board. The Cunninghams there for a second with no one on wire because that was to leeward. But there's the Cunninghams pressing in that way. Looks like a bit of a minefield back up the
Yeah,
fleet,
we've got a boat just popping up there. Does look like it's got red on the sails.
Yeah.
stopping.
Here comes the
those
SKE
stopping.
up to the swim.
Having a swim in these boats too, you know, they look quite fine and everything, but it really does take it out of you. It's especially downwind where you've got to get that chute back in, pull yourself back into the boat. You always have a skipper that jumps in and wants to start sailing before you get into the boat. You know, those blokes that don't like getting wet.
I had a few of them over my time.
Well, what Ruffy used to have to roll me in.
Roy and glitter, huh?
Oh, thanks. We're sitting down here on the bottom mark, the Musto.
They must have had a swim.
They must have run into a bit of difficulty.
It's Infinity rigging from St George, just having a little lie down.
That looks like it's got some Sutek-ish writing.
Still got his jib
doesn't
on.
it?
There it goes.
Yeah, they look like they had probably
Quick little
too much
bearaways.
bang on and so forth, trying to get down. They were fighting the boat the whole way, so might head on back up and see what we can find.
I think in these kind of conditions, what we're going to find as we head back up, there's not going to be too many gains to be made upwind because we've sort of got this slop and it really dampens that high groove that you can whack it into and really make big gains. It's a bit of management uphill and making sure your boat's going through the water quick. However, downhills, we just saw the red pumps go through the red pump thread down that run. And that's sort of that confidence from Bruce.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
sailed
Bruce
these boats for a long time.
And probably Greg being a little bit heavier, Jay being a bit lighter, all adds up to being able to
it's
send it just that friction.
Bruce would have been really happy, would have pushed it that little bit further.
Yep.
So then that's the chubs just coming into the bottom mark with the employment hero having a swim. We're sort of noticing here too, a lot of these kind of younger boats having a little bit more difficulty in this swell. They haven't experienced it yet. These boats are extremely difficult to sail in these kind of conditions. As you can see. So there we are behind the Cunninghams again. Where we've been getting the nice live stream photos from.
Blasting
and there
away.
we go.
Plenty of water in the face there.
Yeah, the skippers don't enjoy these kind of conditions too much.
No, I think Nick's one of the few skippers that wears glasses by memory. Wears sunnies that, we've like, you remember like when we did ones up on Moreton Bay and the skippers ended up going out and buying ski goggles because it was that bad.
Yeah, there would be 30 separate different types of eyewears to choose from.
And then they all started worrying about them fogging up the whole time. It was a lot of whinging.
The COVID mask would probably work nicely, actually.
Yeah.
And the big visor.
So here's the SKE going back upwind. As we said, Scott Beebe on the sheets having a few shoulder problems.
They look nice there, sailing with a little bit of heel. Moved again, red shirt.
That's the Tugara. The ones we watched them have a bit of difficulty up on the top mark, the Tugara. They're just running down here.
They look comfortable now.
It's interesting that we saw a bit more boats having a few more issues down in the bottom half of this course where it's actually not as windy. It does seem a lot choppier down this end.
We just had to blow the chute going through the ferryways there. Boys don't look like they've got too much weight on board.
No.
It's always helpful to have a big sheet hand down the back corner, isn't it, once you get 15, 20 plus?
We know me and Paulie were loved.
You certainly were.
It's also important these forward hands knowing when's the right time to actually pull it on or let it breathe and how that affects what happens with the bow. I knew as a sheet hand I used to like to tell my forward hand how to do it, how I was wrong the whole time.
Sure, Rex would have taken your input.
You do, man. So,
Right, let's go.
Next time we're going to try to get the lead.
so just on screen here, we got the notes.
Blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Blue.
Notes blue.
Yeah. Heading across to the SKE and the CMG, which I believe we've got down as I think that's the Makins actually. No. CMC. No, I've got that wrong. Apologies. That's Michael Vincent, Cameron Walker and Jack Taylor on the CMG property from Middle Harbour. And there's the acceptor. So the fleet's really spread out over this second lap.
Yep. It's definitely is. A lot of them are.
So let's go up to the top, Jimmy. 13.
So,
Partly 13.
so on screen now, just whilst we're here, we've also got the 13s racing in conjunction with the 16s. That's Bartley Constructions on screen at the moment.
They look very comfortable, don't they?
Taylor Spriggett and Hugh Skeen.
Yeah.
Number 9 coming down. Yep. One going up.
It's one of the boats from from Hornsby Karingai. They're on screen, number 9.
So just to give everybody a heads up, the 13s race generally on the same course. They start 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I believe, after the 16s.
10 minutes, and I think that, like, if we're doing a 3-lapper, they'll do a 2-lapper sort of thing.
Yeah. There's the young Sutek boys on screen. The fact that they're running downhill at the moment, I think it's
Means they're leading, I reckon.
yeah.
Or they might have had a little swim somewhere along the line.
Notes blue on screen. Trap wires just
straight out the back.
wires just broke on the Noakes Blue development. So Finn and Dave won't be too happy about that.
So just so I got that right, Noakes Blue, that's Bridgie and Mackie?
No.
That's the other one, is
that's
it?
the other one. That was Noakes development.
Oh, I was about to say. He'd be pretty disappointed in that. Here we got the Dominoes.
Yeah, so they're just working into this left-hand side, North Head. I'd say they're the easternmost boat on the course at the moment, just to give you guys all a heads up of where they are.
Probably a little flatter in here too, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd almost want to go out to Lade and come back at it.
You've got a nice setup there from the back, a lot of twist up top to allow in these sloppy conditions.
Head's very flat.
Going to, yeah, super flat up the top there, isn't it? It's a nice tack from them out there, though. I think in general this breeze has clicked a little bit further right, though.
Definitely.
Well,
The Dominoes looks like he's overlaid it, actually.
CMG here. From Middle Harbour. We saw them before over on the other shore with Noakes development. So we're just now cruising up towards the top mark. Off
Really spread out, haven't they?
Yeah, it's making it, especially with all this lump, it's making life a little bit harder for us up here, but the boys are all doing a great job.
I think we've got is it Mooner in front?
Does look like the moon in front there, doesn't it?
With Irony coming second. We've certainly following Dominoes coming across here. Cunts. Oh, there's the top mark.
Oh, it's still on screen there, Dominoes.
Hard to tell from where we're sitting. We've probably got
Kunami, I think, just
Irony.
so just panning across to the Ivy, hopefully. So there's the Ivy's clear ahead of the Moonin. And then
And Noakes looks like they're coming up in third.
this is a battle that's happened quite a few times. The Noakes, the ex-Pride and crew with the Ivy with Trent Robon and the Moonin. 3 boats that we used to see at the front. It would have been great to have seen the red pumps boats, which seem to be the 4 boats on the water at the moment based on that first lap.
They were electric, weren't they?
Stay out here, like, especially the red pumps with Bruce going downwind that first time.
You trying to get back on his Christmas card?
No,
list?
I'm not. He didn't. We've seen him go to the front a few times in races.
Nice relaxed set there from the Ivy. Robert Trenton
Nice fluoro shoot there for the boys. Looks very, very new.
Don't get much better than that in the crew, do you, those two?
Solid.
Robbie's young bloke, Kobe, sailing on the Cyber Tech Group 13. And they've been out training a hell of a lot this week. So
That's good to see.
with young Theo Franklin.
Wait, get on this.
Just come around to your left, Rob. There we are.
So we're
very
just-
uncharacteristic move on board the Noakes.
He attempted to bear away and wasn't going to pull it off. Had to bring the boat back up into the wind.
This is from two of the most solid.
Here we go, round two. Oh, a little heavy in the nose.
I've got to move.
So they've just got it away now. They've also got a lovely windward set that it looks like they've got to deal with.
That's messy.
I
Need a bit of jib on there.
would not want to be dealing with Mackie in this situation.
No. I haven't heard him described as light-tempered.
Lot tempted. They're still struggling here. Oh, we're
Once they
set
get
now.
it set, you're out on wire. You're pretty safe, right?
Look, it's never fun, is it, having to do a windward set when it's 15 to 20 in this sort of seaway?
Yeah, you've almost got to roll it into windward slightly, always on those windward sets to make
Next
it clear
around,
shoots.
Outback Marine, Georgia Clancy.
She's got
Great results. Someone's just floated off. Still got the Noakes. Noakes are under control there.
And then Cunningham's.
And
So there we go. The Cunninghams there as well.
about to roll the Outback.
Good set on the Cunninghams. The Outback's struggling there.
Big whiny.
Looks like it's coming out though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then the Nozami, Andrew Chapman, doing really well.
Here it goes. Going to pop now.
I know Andrew Chapman's done a lot of sailing in Manly himself. He used to sail flying 11s against me over here back in the day. And I think he also cleaned up a 13s once sailing out of Manly as well. So,
Just for Belmont, guys, we've got the Dominoes. We're just following down now. The seventh boat will be Belmont after the ones we're watching. Outback's doing really well, actually, aren't they?
yeah, I mean,
Harry Bethwaite on board.
Harry knows
The
what he's
difference.
doing on these sides. Oh, he hasn't taken over from Jared yet, has he? I don't know. I've sailed a couple of races with Harry. He's got very, very good communication on the boat. And he's very confident in what he's doing, and he pulls it off as well.
Comes
Which
from a
is
very,
great.
very famous sailing family. And
Yeah, he's spent a lot of time on the water too in a lot of boats, so he just has that good understanding. We can see all three of these boats going down here. We got the Outback Marine.
They got a little bit on there.
Yeah.
This is the Nozomi, is it? With the blue kite?
Nozomi's sending it now.
They are sending it.
They look like they've got a bit skinnier shoot too, with a bit less shoulders in it, which might help them in this situation.
The swell just looks like it's picked up a little bit too.
yeah, it has in this corner. I'm just
A couple of metres swell now.
I think the Outback Marine there, Steve, when they went round and got rolled instantly, it maybe just shook them a little bit
Yeah.
and took a bit of their confidence away.
It takes a little while to get organised again, doesn't it? Get moving
Yeah.
once you've been rolled.
Also, as we're looking at them from behind, I don't think George has let nearly enough bang off there. That leash looks very, very stiff,
It does, doesn't it?
which just makes everything a little bit harder.
to do, doesn't it?
It's very, very stiff, that lead. We're going to have I'm sure, hopefully she listens back to this. Listens to my words of wisdom. She's never listened before, so can't see it starting now.
They're all just trying to get into this flood of water, just on Flagstaff or just on the inside of Flagstaff here for the jibe.
Nice safety jibe there from Georgia. Just pinning that corner down a little bit longer. That's how you can tell that it's starting to get a little bit fresher.
That Nozomi's got plenty of pace downhill.
They look to be sailing a bit higher groove, don't they?
Not afraid to send it, are they?
No.
Well, when you're a sailmaker, you can break things, can't you, Jimmy, and get them fixed overnight.
You probably could, but
So this is the
Dominoes.
This is the Dominoes. They're sort of sailing all around by themselves. A bit behind this pack of 3 in front of us. They're sort of heading into Grotto now.
Be lucky if there's 10
boats,
out
10,
here.
12 boats
Yeah,
out
so,
here now, yeah.
Upright, 10, 12 boats upright. Yeah.
Long week out here, that's for sure. And there you go. The Harrier just went and bang. How
lovely.
good's that?
That's it.
That's going straight to the highlight reel, chits.
He's obviously not a rope maker.
Just see what the water temperature's like.
20.8 right here, Steve-o.
That's actually quite a nice temperature, isn't it?
Very nice for a swim.
He's got it all out here, Jimmy. The team.
This
Fantastic.
breeze has definitely flicked around to the southwest a little bit, just on the angles they're all running down here. Last time we saw them driving off this point here and running into Reef Beach, whereas the Outback Marine on screen is barely laying the bottom mark here, with a jibe about 100 metres earlier. Interesting to see around this bottom mark too. If we see some of these other boats pull the pin a little bit early.
It looks like the Outback's going to be low on the bottom mark.
Also,
Early drop, I suggest.
there's a boat with a blue and white hull down here, and I can't see a Noakes upright.
Noakes is over here.
That's the
Noakes
development boat.
Yeah, they must have.
Lap behind, I'd say.
The
Outback here. Let's
So there's the Outback. Early drop.
giving Kurt a bit of a workout.
Look fairly comfortable though, don't they?
Yeah, he spent a lot of time in the bow on these boats. He sailed a couple of seasons with the Moonin boys. Whilst Matty was off gallivanting around the world. Very solid hand, and then you chuck Harry Bethwaite in there with Georgia, and she's sailing a very good race today. Something must have happened to the Noakes down that one. Because did they go round with the Cunninghams?
Yep, they just went around just in front of
the
the
top-
There's the Noakes blue just on screen.
The top mark, they lost
And
a little bit.
asking themselves questions whether it's time to go home or go for another bash.
Someone at the club can give a thumbs up if the beer's cold and they'll head that way.
It does look to be a sheet head looking under that boom very, very keenly towards the bar.
The bar?
Yeah, they're definitely going home.
As we look back up the course, sort of can see it all on the drone screen, as we've alluded to. Quite a few people have pulled the pin on this race. Either that or we've got a lot of swimmers. We've got
The Noakes and the Cunningham.
good little speed battle here for the Cunninghams boys to check where they're at against one of the top teams.
There's the Noakes, they've just tapped back. Cunningham's on top of them. Yeah.
One of the other fun things you get to deal with on Sydney Harbour, a couple of kayakers. Just
The Outback Marines just pulled out there, heading home.
so we got Ivy heading upwind there, the current leaders of the race, which I believe the other boat coming downwind is the Musto. As we can, you can sort of see with these spinnakers coming downwind now. I don't think it's Musto. I think,
Sutek. That wide shoot.
if you want to see some boys who know how to send it, they're on screen at the moment. The Sutek.
Yeah, the boys will be a bit disappointed with today. They can sail the heavy conditions quite well, even though they're not carrying a lot of crew weight.
Yeah, there's not much of them when we went and saw them just before.
Are they rigging up close to the Dominoes boys at least? So might be able to crack a deal, do a counter deal.
But we've just got them on screen there. We know that Josh has spent a lot of time in the gym, and you can really see it in the way he's working the kite a little bit better now, especially in these conditions. That fitness gets tested in the bow, doesn't it, Steve-o? Like it's
Especially after a couple of swims.
Yeah.
They look a lot more comfortable now, though. So
What are you going to do? Warm your hands up before you drop it, don't you?
get those heat packs out.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
You ask the sheet hand to hold it for you.
I know my hands are warm after we've had a long walk on the beach together in the morning, mate.
So we see they go
You're really getting an insight to how the old Sutek team used to play games.
That's right. Pina coladas tonight.
So the Sutek boys just get a nice clean drop in there. They're going to go for a left-hand turn.
There's our one boat from Queensland, the RW Retail. They're learning all about the Manly Ferry and who has right away. So
they made the smart decision to flog their chute there.
yeah, so that big Manly Ferry going through, it's got the orange diamond up, so you've got to give way to it. But the other Manly ferries that come in, the smaller catamaran versions, they're more manoeuvrable, so they can move around you, so you don't have to give way to them as much.
So here we got someone having a good send down the centre. We can see they're flogging their chute for a bit of safety. There's a lot of pressure on them just there.
I'm going with, that might be...
Yeah, they're struggling there.
That's Chubbs.
That's the Chubbs. It's another Dransfield out here steering that boat.
So I think there's, what, 3 Dransfields out here steering the boat, so...
Probably be nice to see the forward hand down the back of the boat just a little further.
It's the one thing when it does get a little bit fresh like this too. You got to still remember to swing out, not back. Because if you swing too far backwards, get as far back in the boat as you can, but you really want to get that weight out of the boat as far as you can so it does have a better leverage moment. It's quite a hard thing to get your head around, but it does work. Whereas if you just try and stand on the transom and lean backwards, it doesn't really work too well for you.
Just start to set the chute there.
So we're just on the drone on screen, just working its way back up through the course. Starting to move it on screen here. They're heading back in towards that sort of middle harbour area.
Yeah, it looks like there's a fair few rescue craft down over near the Bomboras, tending to some boats down there, so
yeah,
that could probably be why we haven't seen so many boats.
No, it's not the best. It's giving everybody a good workout for the week ahead. So then we've got the Noakes following in behind the Moonin there. Just from us sitting on the camera boat here, it definitely has gotten a little bit lumpier.
It probably Noakes to Moonin, probably about 200 metres.
Yeah, I think Noakes must have had a bit of an issue down that last one. I think they might have overcooked the bottom mark or something. I saw them reaching in with no chute for a little bit, so...
So Moonin's heading in towards Middle Harbour at the moment.
And there's the Cunninghams. Cunningham's there. They've just put themselves out slightly to windward of the Noakes and the Moonin just to give themselves a little bit of gauge. And as we've seen, that left-hand side has paid off a little bit. And then well to the left of them off screen, which is just a nice loose cover from the Imey, who are looking very comfortable out that left-hand side. The Cunninghams here, you know, as we've sort of alluded to, when you're going into that right-hand side, you do take a little bit of punishment. It has been tending to pay. I think they're getting a little bit flatter water over there, to tell you the truth.
I think the boys will be enjoying it's only a shorter race today. Well, we may not have seen a finish, really.
But I'll tell you what. Oh, fireball.
There's a beautiful nosedive.
The guys behind us again on the spot.
Our director's got his crystal ball that he wanted for Christmas.
So we just got the 3 boats on screen there. It's the Cunninghams again. I've just been keeping an eye on them out the window. They're sailing a lovely groove across here.
They're just sort of grinding away there.
They look really nice. I'm not sure if they. I know the Moonin and the Noakes below them do like to sail a little bit faster groove. And in this sloppy stuff, it can be a little bit hard to check that speed to height ratio. I know the Imey definitely loves a low, fast groove with Trent on the sheet where you've got the machine going.
Yeah. The sheet hand's got to be working pretty hard then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cunninghams, they've just started to drop away a little bit now. And you'll see on screen, Cunningham's getting across. You should see Moonin coming back there on the starboard tack shortly, any moment.
We're just trying to zoom over and see them now.
There they are, they'll be crossing the there. Hard to call, but I'd probably say there's at least 250 metres in that.
So we alluded to it before. Winning an invitation race, Steve, I know you would have been in the position to win quite a few of them. They sort of took them away when I started sailing them a little bit more, but are you a superstitious man? About winning one?
I think it's time to go home and save your energy, isn't it?
Well, it's only one lap down to the finish. I know we sailed against Lee back in the day, and he never won the invitation race, did he?
Oh, you mean will he go through the finish
Will
line?
he
Will
go
the
through-
Army go through, or will he go
Army
straight
go
home?
through the finish line?
I'd probably go straight home.
Straight home?
I think so.
It's sort of, you don't want to risk it, do you?
No, you don't want to risk it.
I'm picking Napper's got a bit of that in him, Jimmy. Not a superstition.
He's not very superstitious as such. He's
But in terms of that invitation race,
things like that. He's very competitive, and he's very much so. If there's a race there to win, he'll want to win it.
So I'm pretty sure Ruffy
I was probably the most superstitious one on the fire stopping out of everyone back in the day, but Robbie was always go, go, go. Like one of my superstitions was I didn't want to know the accumulative results during a regatta, because just, all I needed was a head nod off Napper to know that we're going all right. That's all I needed, and I let all the worrying to the other boys, and I just worried about all the superstition stuff, like putting my left boot on first and things like that.
So we got the moon in here.
So Moonan's probably, I'd say, 300 metres behind the Army at the moment.
They've both just sort of got one of these new little Manly ferry-ish things cruising through the centre of the course.
Going back to that superstition, we should have Trevor Barnabas riding in here. Should be able to tell us. I mean, the Barnabas family, very famous sailing family. I'm sure.
There's a couple of famous fans.
I'm sure his beliefs run through his son and grandsons with Zach, and I mean that'll be an interesting competition this week too, won't it? We've got Trent on the Army, and we've got Zach sailing with Nathan and Malcolm on the Typhoon. So
I think that'll be a really good competition between those good boats for the whole week.
Here's the Army. We'll probably have
Easy
we wrapped
round,
it back down with the Army. What do you reckon?
I think that's a great idea. I think
See if they are superstitious.
for a windward set in these conditions just then, that was pretty incredible.
look
that
easy.
one.
about 100 mil short on the halyard though, isn't he?
Oh,
A little disappointing for Robbie. Robbie.
You watch, Trent will reach in and rip that up for him with 2 fingers in a second, won't he?
Get a little closer, I'll open the window and give him some advice.
So we're just pounding back around to chase the Army down here, I believe. Oh,
And there's the Moonin.
There's the Moonin.
He's about 100. He's probably about 100 metres off the top mark. We're just panning back down to the Army.
So I think the Army's actually extended away from him here.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, these are the kind of conditions that we expect Ruffy to clean everybody up here, which is a very good sign for this. I know they sailed the Nationals together last year, I believe. They chucked Dave on with a day's notice. They've actually had a few days training this year leading into it. They're looking pretty nice down here.
Bit of safety first from Rob there, just let the chute fly.
Rob's always been a bit safe. So.
He doesn't mind the letting it have a little flog, mate. It's
Oh, we've got a few breakers in front of us here.
yeah.
The top's coming off.
I've actually sailed with Trent in the bow in conditions very similar to this. But I actually had to tell him to slow it down downwind because I fell out the back of the boat and snapped both tiller extension sides. Which is interesting. Well, it is.
So, Imy's just coming down off Dobroyd at the moment, and the Moonin has just rounded, it looks like.
Looks like there's been another big wind shift here that we sort of have been able to pick up on because the Imy looks like they're running straight down towards the finish here. Whereas before they were probably 20 degrees higher running into Store Bay. So one thing that is difficult when you're running in these conditions is actually, you know, down the last run they probably got used to the angle of the waves and getting settled in with it. But there is a few depth angles when you're running down these waves. If you're running too square, like directly down, then we can get real hairy. Then we got the Moonin.
There's the Boonin chasing hard.
Matty Stenner's going to give it a red hot go to give Ruffy some boat work overnight, I reckon.
Well, given the boys haven't had too much sailing together, I guess they'll be relatively happy. But with room for improvement.
You can see there that Gus is chilling. Classic Sutek manoeuvre there. Sheet hand doesn't hold the main sheet at all. Good to see it's gone through to the Moonin as well. We just sort of sit up the back and relax on the way downwind. We like to. Gus will tell us all that he's calling all the tactics, but I don't think there's much tactics down this run.
I had a little sleeve on the back of Joe. I just used to put all my suggestions in and read them when we got back to the beach.
Hey, you threw them off the back when you handed them to him. I'll put that in the suggestion box at the back. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
We can see the Moonin there. They're a lot higher, actually. They're up about, I don't know, 10 degrees on the IME, so you must have got a boomer coming around the top mark. Or was you saying there's a significant shift, obviously?
It's a bit of shift. That Moonin chute's got some big shoulders on it, though, doesn't it?
A bit like you, Paulie.
all those years carrying you, Steve.
I know.
I'll back you up, Paulie.
I know
Rough
Rough
four.
I'm tired just thinking about it.
Little Rough Nuts has told me a couple of times that he sort of feels it's very projected up high, that spinnaker. It works well in certain conditions, especially these lumpier stuff, you know, helps you get a bit more depth. But when they do have to push it a little bit harder with the waves, it can make it a little bit harder.
Here comes the Noakes. So nice wake out the back there, just shows the speed they're doing.
They've extended away from the Cunninghams too there, haven't they? They must have had a bit of an issue down that last run. Looks.
Not on screen. You got Imey going through the finish line now.
No superstition there.
No, I told you, mate. I was the one who was all the superstitions.
If you look at the Noakes, Paul Lee, I mean, they're up, what, at least 10 degrees, 15 degrees higher than the
I
Imey?
reckon you're right, Steve. I think the Imey must have just got a big boom around that top mark.
Yeah, they look so comfortable.
Yeah.
I think they're probably running a bit nicer with the swell, basically.
Yeah.
Back behind, there's the Cunninghams. They're probably 100 metres behind the Noakes. They're doing very nicely. The boys, I'm sure, will be happy with that.
I think the Cunninghams boys will be very, very happy with that. So here we've got the Moonin coming in now. They look pretty relaxed there.
Finish the race.
Matty seems to be chilling a little bit there. Normally he runs up and down the gunnel a tiny bit more.
Here comes the last jibe. Little pull on the chute. Back through, blow. Perfect.
Lovely jibe.
Textbook.
Nice and smooth. You will notice on the Moonin, they're very, very smooth through their manoeuvres. They don't really whip it through. Manoeuvres. I've had a cold. Not the spicy cough, don't worry. So
what do we got there? Is that the Noakes or is it the Cunninghams?
That's the Cunninghams.
There. He's decided to split. Oh no, they're on. No.
Noakes on screen here, running in towards Reef Beach. The one thing I have liked about this little battle between the Noakes and the Cunninghams is the Cunninghams keep on giving themselves an opportunity. They're not just doing follow the leader. They're sort of taking a little bit of gauge, taking a little bit of a different route.
He's a little deep here too, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, just
he's not going to get there, but he'll certainly be close.
He's not going to get there, but he's going to close up. But I think that the Noakes coming in here, we've got them both on screen here, coming towards each other. The Noakes are looking a little bit tight.
They've crossed.
They've lined up this pin actually for the finish perfectly. The Noakes. Just getting away a little bit deeper there. They're going to hit the middle of the line. About 50 to 100 to go.
Just got a little one there, little boomer.
They're just trying to push up to hit this pin as close as they can to get closer to the mark, Steve, I reckon. Quick at home.
Close to the club.
Closer to the club.
Quicker to the Esky and the
There you go.
and the Noakes trailer.
There goes Bridgie. Oh, we've got the Cunninghams on screen now.
We just saw their jive on the split screen before. Lovely jive from the boys.
They've lined it up nicely too.
Yeah. Good drop from them, and they could beat the Noakes to the club for schooners, I reckon.
That's the real race, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to motivate young Alex Chittenden to have a beer, that's for sure, mate. So,
Oh, they nearly took out the turning marks there.
oh. Mikey Childs headbutted the side stays on the drop there.
You won't hear any complaining from him, though, will you?
No,
Who have we got coming across here?
Dominoes.
They've done well.
Yeah, they've certainly made some ground up there.
I mean, based on the amount of boats that were looking up the fleet here, I think finishing today was a good result. I think it's a bit just, well,
It's boat preservation this early in a regatta, or like today being the invitation race, you know, you're not really wanting to
I think
probably send it because we're not going to have these conditions for
the rest of it. I mean, I think
on the forecast at this stage, are we?
I think it would have been good. We haven't had too much little rig sailing at the club this year. It would have been good just to test them out for everybody.
Yep.
But I mean, those from a viewing perspective, would have been great to see both Red Pumps boats stay out here. But I perfectly understand the theory that
They've done enough training in all conditions, and you know, it's a testament to the amount of effort that they've put in on the water. It's showing now when the regatta's here. So
yeah,
you know, that's what they. You say sorry to the wife and the kids and everything, and you go training 2-3 days a week after work, and you know, often, as you guys know, you get home and the kids are already in bed asleep, and you know, that whole part is all you know, big sacrifice. And both Red Pumps have, you know, mind you, young Tyler hopefully hasn't got kids. He's only a kid himself, but you know, everyone else is a huge commitment to make it happen. And you know, as I said, the Red Pumps train the house down this season, so I'd like to see them hopefully feature at some point.
You definitely get out what you put in with this, don't you?
Yeah, well, you know, I think we did. God, I can't even remember how many days a week we used to do against you blokes on the fluid.
Too many.
Too many. Yeah, it was good fun, but yeah, it's how the good gets better. So I think this is one of the last boats afloat that we got on screen now.
back to that. I heard something the other day. More hard work you put in, the luckier you get. And that's what you're seeing from the Red Pumps.
Looks like RW Retail from Queensland, so...
Oh, looking good.
Carlton
Smith, yeah.
Kai and Mark.
We've had the RW Retail. It's good to see them back down here. I believe one of their old stalwarts from my day, Paddy Hanlon, might be making an appearance down here on Friday, Saturday.
Well, that sounds like trouble, Paulie.
That's a lot of trouble for me. I'm definitely not giving him my address, but
It's all right, we will.
He'll
my
find
boss
you.
doesn't even know my address. He's I think he's excited to come down and have a couple of beers. These guys should be able to deal with this slot quite well, being from up on Moreton Bay.
Yeah, certainly some of the harder conditions sailing up on Moreton Bay, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll be a walk in the park from...
Yeah. It is slightly different with the rollers, with the slop almost here instead of the short sharp swell up there.
Seem to be handling quite nicely there.
They look pretty smooth.
There you go, nice little wave.
Baz rigs.
Yeah. I think they've always run Baz rigs.
Yeah, I think they have.
Kai Horgood there on the sheet.
I didn't see Baz out here actually. Maybe the battery was flat with the lights left on with the boat.
No, I saw him running around before the start, and I think he followed his.
He puts a lot of time and effort into these boats, Baz.
Yeah.
Been down here training the guys, always willing to help, doesn't matter what club it is. I mean, obviously he's helping his own sales, but
I think
he does a fantastic job. Life member too down at Manly.
Yeah. I think Baz really likes to help out the people who he sees putting in a lot of that effort too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you spend a lot of time with Baz and tell him you want to go training, he'll show up every single time to come down here.
No.
And then when you get to this regatta stage, they're the people that really get. He sort of values that effort that people put in.
Yeah.
Doesn't like it when you think you can just roll up and think you're going to win.
No, well, he's a hard worker himself, so he recognises that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He'll do anything for you.
Yeah, but you got to try and help yourself first.
He'll be down there in the middle of the night fixing your rigs and fixing your sails for you if you've done the right thing.
Yeah, that's right. So nice solid drop from the RW boys there as well.
They'll be happy to go home.
Well, I can't see anyone else upright
You can see a few boats
getting towed home.
Here comes the 13 with the main down up the
Yep.
course.
Yep, I think they're under tow S, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's about it. So
There's another one on the tow. Is there another one up to the left too?
I think they're all under tow, brother.
Yeah, I think they are.
So tomorrow, Sunday, we're honouring the boys from Matana. I know Willie Morrison is down here. I've seen Spider down here today. Squirter was down here, so the only one we're sort of missing, well, two we're missing, is Schultze, who I think went back to WA and for his round Australia trip, and Billy McMahon, who I believe is making an appearance down here tomorrow. So, and tomorrow is also junior day for the activities at the club, so encouraging all the juniors from Manly and visiting clubs to participate in a fun day of activities, including a chance to meet the skiff sailors. So, I think that's a great initiative, and a good way for some of the young guys to start having an idol in the 16s and 13s, somewhere to look up to. So it's it's definitely one thing that club there prides itself on screen, especially in our 100th year. Still got plenty of festivities planned ahead. But yeah, thanks very much for tuning in, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Hopefully a little bit better conditions, boys, but I think I've got both of you boys penciled in again for tomorrow.
You got both of us back tomorrow.
Legendary stuff. So
Looking
thank you to the mighty Sutek. If you ever need building consultants, ring these boys. Paulie, Steve-O, thanks so much for your help. To all our crew, thanks so much for today. It was testing conditions, but we got through it. And we look forward to seeing you at that place right there in the middle of the screen for a beer shortly. So see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy.